If you are a regular citizen and you apply for a federal job, and at the same time a veteran applies to the same job, it doesn't matter how much more qualified you are for that job than the veteran. As long as the veteran's qualified, they're going to get the nod, as they likely should. By the same token, if an American citizen applies for a job in the private sector and a visa candidate applies for the same job, it shouldn't matter how much more qualified the visa candidate is than the citizen. The citizen should get the nod. And I got to tell you from experience, it's not necessarily even the case that they're more experienced, the visa candidate. We're finding out from Disney's well documented this story about how they made employees train their H1B visa replacements. Siemens has had to do the same thing. We find out what happened there because of a lawsuit. But there are a lot of other situations that we're probably not hearing about because the H1B visa person is not going to speak up lest they lose the visa and the opportunity to get a green card and have chain migration for the rest of their family. And the person being replaced is not going to speak up because they had to sign some non-disclosure agreement in order to get the clearance that they were promised if they stuck around long enough to train their replacement. And then there's also the situations that we don't hear about where the person never even gets hired in the first place. The citizen doesn't get hired in the first place because they have somebody else in mind. I've run into quite a few of these Indian-based companies or Asian Indian run companies that have U.S. bases, Wipro, Tata, Infosys, just off the top of my head. And they contact me on occasion. I got to tell you, not only have I never gotten a job from any of them, I've never even gotten an interview. They haven't even been able to get me an interview. And I can tell from a story that I saw today, listing out someone went to the Department of Labor and downloaded all the past 5 years information for H1B visa folks. And I could see from the salaries that he's listing that this whole thing is controlling the compensation in all of IT. This issue isn't going away. It's bigger than Trump, and I'm glad for that. Elon Musk is potentially canceling people or censoring folks, which is interesting because there is a CEO of Twitter, and I forget what her name is because Elon's personality is so strong that it seems like he's still the CEO. I'm sure he's chairman or something. He's definitely the owner, but technically there's a CEO. He gave up that role, but we don't hear that name as often because his personality with Twitter X is still so strong. But the difference now is that because of censoring that we had to deal with in COVID, people have found alternatives if necessary. I know that prior to the censorship that Facebook and Twitter had, I didn't know about other organizations like Brighteon or Gab or CloutHub or the censoring that YouTube had. I didn't know about Rumble really or BitChute or Odyssey, or I even saw something called FreedomTube. But the word is going to get out, and I'm glad people are talking about this. It's an interesting story in what is usually a quiet news week between Christmas and New Year's. But I feel obligated to talk about it. Elon Musk apparently put out a message. What are we supposed to call them if not tweets? We can't call them X's. But anyway, apparently he put out a message saying he's going to fight this, and people of the Republican Party who are against it need to be pulled out from the party uh, by the roots, and told someone to take a step backwards and F themselves in the face. Well, and Steve Bannon apparently replied that Elon was acting like a man-child, and someone called Child Protective Services to do a wellness check on this toddler. I thought that was cool. I like Steve Bannon, but the reason why I'm talking about this is I feel compelled to do so because just with the names I've listed so far, they're all less melanated than myself. And I don't want these folks who I tend to agree with to be standing alone, especially when the regular playbook's going to come out that they're racist or sexist or bigoted or homophobic, all because they have an opinion about something. And I don't see that happening as much this time. I know they want to create a rift in between MAGA folks, or I don't think it's going to happen, because both sides of the aisle on this issue are, the majority are anti more unfettered access to H1B folks. And it's not just the 80,000 or 100,000 that they talk about. They're getting more than that. I know Elon has put forward some sort of compromise saying, well, maybe we'll just put a tariff on these type of applicants, make it more expensive to hire them over the citizen, where they're already not supposed to be hiring them over the citizen. So if they're not following the rules that we have in place right now, who's to say we just add some more rules that's going to change anything? It's a scam. Where are all these Sir Isaac Newtons coming from? Do we have 100,000 new Sir Isaac Newtons overseas coming that we need to bring here? I don't think that many exist. Are there that many Nikola Teslas? Are there that many Benjamin Franklins? I don't think so. So, the president himself said in some, it looked like a video meeting, a video call, where he says everyone who is a foreign student who graduates from community college or regular college, they should automatically have attached to their diploma a green card. And I say, phooey. Apparently he's getting dragged online in the comment section. Perhaps he's not aware of the pain that's happening out there. As I mentioned in a different video, the average age of someone buying a house today is 56 years old. People don't feel like they can sustain a family. You have folks, still living at home in their 30s because they can't launch, even though they have a degree. And I'm not talking about the folks who have a degree in underwater basket weaving. I'm talking about the folks who have a degree that can allow them to be productive in the workforce. They just need an opportunity to get to work, myself included. So I'm glad this is not going away. It shouldn't. This is part of making America great again, and the president can't allow himself to get played on this like he did with the vaccines and COVID. As I said, there's plenty of places where people can get the word out. Mastodon, I didn't even hear about that prior to them trying to cancel folks in the past. What are your thoughts on all this? Do you think we should have, this is legal immigration is what they're calling it, but they're just abusing the program, and they're all in sync because it's making them wealthier. Do you not already have enough money, Elon? Do you not already have enough money, Vivek? I hear Vivek is worth close to $1 billion. Zuckerberg, Bezos, do you not already have enough money? And yet we have Americans who, you have American men who feel like, hey, I don't feel like I can support a family while I'm a waiter, even though I have my bachelor's degree. You got women who are doing things they probably don't want to do for money. They want the guys to approach, but the guys probably, hey, financially, what can I do besides take her to McDonald's? Speaking of McDonald's, earlier this year, I went with my stepfather, and for just the two of us, it cost $25. Dave Ramsey says when you're going out to eat, 80% of the bill is really entertainment. I wasn't that entertained paying $25 for McDonald's. So this is essential. I was feeling a little down until I read the post of the owner of one of those alternative social media sites that I mentioned, and he had a different take, saying this isn't going away. This is the tip of the spear. That they're not going to be able to put this toothpaste back in the tube. This is bigger than Trump, and the American people are letting it be known. It'll be interesting once we get past New Year's Day to see what the temperature is like. But I'm speaking up because I'm another face, a brown face, talking about this on the side of a lot of people who happen to be less melanated than myself, because I understand. That's all I have to say about that, at least for today. Talk to you next time.